I used to do Taekwondo with a guy that was one of his hitmen.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Back in like Boston?
Oh, yeah, back in Boston. He asked me, I was his instructor, and he asked me, like, if you're going to kill somebody, where would you hit him? And I go, like, I guess, like, the neck. He goes, yeah, the neck, I think. Now, I knew that he was involved in some sort of organized crime at the time. I didn't know, like, to what extent. But then afterwards, he got arrested for murder.
Wow.
Yeah, he went to jail for being a part of all that crazy South Boston.
There was the one
organized crime shit.
His main fucking right-hand guy, hitman, who's in he does all the documentaries about it. He's free because of his testimony. This has always wilded me, but I think he's got 19 bodies. Isn't that crazy when there's someone who's done that and they're like, yeah, but they gave us good information. Yeah.
That's a weird world. But that South Boston mob world, that's the reason why Dana White moved to Las Vegas.
Really?
He had to get out of Boston. He's talked about it a bunch of times. Like, they were threatening his gym. They were threatening him. Like, you know, they wanted him to give them money. And he was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
That's a good move.
Yeah. And that was all the Whitey Bulger crew. And then when you find out that he was an FBI informant, you're like, what?
I know.
And like, they let him get away with murder? Like, what?
It's an
like,
amazing
you knew
story.
he was murdering people?
Amazing.
Holy shit. For how long?
Yeah.
And then he gets caught because his girlfriend and him get in a fight in Santa Monica. She's like yelling at him. And everybody's like, hey, you okay? What's going on? And then it winds up, you know, holy shit, that's Whitey Bulger.
But I think she was Icelandic. And she's the original FBI tip call.
Oh, wow.
It was a...
So she recognized him.
Yeah, she had befriended, I think, the woman.
Oh.
And made the call. And yeah, and they were doing things like they had just a hole in the wall in the apartment with cash in it. Like that was their bank, you know? And do you know how he got an identity? This is fascinating.
How?
He was living in Santa Monica, and he would go to the park, and he slow played a homeless guy in the park, a sympathetic and empathetic ear about this guy's story. And like over time, eventually he's like, and this is basically, I need an identity. So how about I'll give you this money, and then I get your state ID, your social security number, all this stuff, but I'll pay you for that. And the guy did the deal. So that's the identity he adopted. Oh. And that's how he was able to like kind of live and move about.
So if someone does that, what happens to the original person?
I don't know. I think he was kind of resigned. I think at least the theory was that he's resigned to a life that is out of the system. So how about I take over your life that's in the system? Because you're out of it.
What?
And here's money to compensate you, and I've befriended you. This isn't like one conversation.
Right.
We're working on this for months.
Like there's people out there that are really good at like weaseling their way into your life and stealing enormous sums of money.
That the bookkeeper for a bunch of bands has been just got arrested by the feds. Stole $3 million. Was the bookkeeper. And the way that it was discovered was one of the band's managers, who she again is the bookkeeper for like a number of big bands, knew that there was a card that he's like, this is a card that's for me, and if I do XYZ on the tour, you know, and she keeps like different cards for different purchases. Anyways, he never used it and wasn't but not being used by this guy.
Right.
One day he just out of the blue goes to use it, and then he decides to log in and just see if he's been using it, and sees just pages of massive purchases, pages for months and months and months and months and months. So she's using it and then using like band funds to pay for it.
Wow.
Had this whole scheme going, and they said like they tracked her for a while. So it's like once you do over a certain amount, it's considered a major crime.
Yeah. What is it that's so exciting about like stealing money that way for people? It must be such a thrill when you're getting away with it.
Absolutely. And all those stories, both these stories have like similar things, because I learned about this woman, and I remember Dane saying this about his half brother, that they had like 2 lives going. So in front of you, like in front of the person with money, it would be like jeans and a t-shirt and like just, I hope I can, I don't know, man. I broke my glasses. I hope I can get a pair at the pharmacy today, And then, but away from you, they're staying at like 5-star hotel.
Think about the lady who recognized Whitey Bulger and befriends the girlfriend and then makes FBI tips. Like all of a sudden she's in a movie.
Yeah.
Her boring ass bullshit life is now, instead of that, the apartment complex she has is harboring fugitives.
It's so much more exciting.
Dun, 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 dun. Every day's a thrill.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be thrilling.
It has to be. It has to be.
And to be stealing all this money from people and you're working with them like, hi, how are you, Mike? Looking great. Everything's amazing. Meanwhile, you're just stealing money. And you're at home alone just with piles of money on the bed.
Going on like these vacations.
Yeah, buying jewelry and shit.
Yeah.
Buying purses and shoes and going
none of
crazy.
It's yours.
None of it's yours. You're just stealing. Give me. And you just have no plan. Like you're thinking, how am I going to get out of this?
Guy who got a job in accounting for I think it was one of America's oldest cookie or cake makers, like a family company that did well, not like Hershey's, but like did well and had this book of business that was somewhat popular. He got a basic accounting job in this, let's say 100, 200 person business. And the show profiles how eventually he was using the funds of the company that had an outdated accounting system. Like they didn't have modern accounting. It was like handwrite this.
Oh no.
And he was able to take advantage of that, and he would write like 2 checks, but only write one of them in the book. So there was never like anything being flagged. Anyway, over the course of a few years, it was like 6-7 million. And then he'd show up to work and be like, shucks, my Camry's I gotta get new tires. And they have no idea. And he just gets away with it.
Was he posting pictures on social media?
No, but they eventually found photos when they said that when he knew the cops were coming after him, they were watching him, and he like ran and he parked on the side of a bridge and he ran down to a creek and he just put Rolexes in the creek and put rocks on them. He's a fucking idiot.
The thing is, when people become obsessed with stuff, they become obsessed with like jewelry and houses and watches and planes and shit like that. Like that kind of insatiable desire for constant new and improving things.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
People go nutty, and if you go nutty and you're stealing money and you're in that trap, you're in that constant needing the fucking new Bentley, needing the new thing. Did you get the 2023? It's the good one.
Yeah,
you don't want the 2022 anymore.
Yeah, 2023. You got to turn yours in.
2022 is bullshit.